Okay guys, what we're going to go through is drawing up drugs in anesthesia. And most drugs are really simple to draw up. Pretty much you just get the syringe that's about the size of the volume of the amount of medication you want, and then just use either the blunt end of the syringe or a needle or a puncturing needle to draw up your medications. For example, dexamethasone, it's 4 milligrams in 1 mil, so really this 2 or 3 mil syringe is perfect. I just use a blunt drawing up needle like that and draw up the medication. So most of these ampules, what you'll notice is there's usually a dot on one side. So what I do is I get my pointer finger behind that dot and put my thumb on the dot, and then I just push back like this, and that opens the vial. Some people put a bit of gauze on there just to prevent getting any sharp injuries from there. So what I've got is the appropriately sized syringe and a drawing up needle. I can simply draw up my medication. As always, remember to label all your medications to prevent drug errors, and always cap them with a stopper as well. Now, other medications come with a rubber stopper, especially like this cefazolin. So you might find that you need to puncture that, and there's some really good devices that aren't needles, like these, and these can puncture really effectively as well, which we'll use later. Some vials don't even need you to have a needle or any puncturing device, like atropine, for example. This ampule here, simply open that and just plug into the ampule like so, and draw up, label, and cap. What I want to actually go through mostly is some of the most difficult medications to draw up, and two of them that you'll find are cefazolin and other antibiotics, and propofol. And just being able to drop these medications efficiently means, for example, that if you're in an emergency, you're really efficient in what you're doing, but also you avoid all the spillage. And guaranteed, I think we all remember our first rotations in anesthesia, where we tried to drop cefazolin, it just went absolutely everywhere. So what I'll do is I'll just show you my method. So first of all, approximately get a 10 ml syringe. Most patients will get 2 grams of this if they're adults. If they're over 120 kilos, 3 grams of cefazolin. And for pediatric cases, anywhere from 25 to 50 milligrams per kilogram. So 10 ml syringe. I use water for injection. You'll find that antibiotics like ampicillin, vancomycin, timentin, these are much more difficult to draw up and dissolve, so using water really helps, and using more water, especially in drugs like timentin, really helps. I put this particular sharpened drawing up needle, and now here's a subtlety to this. The first puncture I make is I keep the vial upright, puncture the needle into the vial, like so, and then using this grip here that you can see, I just push all the water in. If I was to do it upside down, you'd find that you get a lot of splashback of the water and you just get cefazolin everywhere. So that's what we do there. Then I shake to dissolve, and this dissolves really quite easily. Now when I'm drawing up, I have the vial upside down, and I don't over-pressurize. I just do this with my thumb on the plunger, and I slowly drop everything. Finally, I recap it with that needle and the cefazolin vial, as well as labeling this for later. Same thing, I'll just show you in kind of speed. And that's dissolved, and then holding the vial upside down, just little amounts of air pushed into the vial enable me to withdraw back on the liquid really effectively. And that's cefazolin. One of the most difficult drugs that you'll have to draw up is propofol. And this is really important that you know how to draw this up quickly and effectively, because it is a drug you need in an emergency, so you need it pretty fast. It comes in a couple of different vials, so this glass vial here, but also a glass vial with a cap and a rubber stopper, like that. First of all, this one has that red dot there, so again, pointer finger on the back, thumb on the red dot, and just uncap it like so. Now you can draw this up with one of these drawing up needles, and that's pretty easy to do, but I find that this is unnecessary and can be a bit slow. So what I do is I do this technique. I have the little nib over here, and I simply do this. I just hold my vial and slowly tilt my syringe as I drop the medication. Note that I'm tilting the vial as I complete drawing up the solution. And I'll show you that just at speed and what it looks like. So breaking the vial, and note that my fingers, so I've got a thumb on the wings of the syringe, the 20 ml syringe, and the rest of my fingers are on the plunger. So that's my grip, and I simply just draw it up. I can draw it up really quickly and effectively, just like that. It's hard getting the last little bits, and you just have to get a bit of practice doing that. Sometimes you want to run an infusion of propofol, and so you'll find that you need to use one of these big 50 ml syringes. It's got a lower lock connector, so I have to screw that into the sharpened drawing up needle. I uncap the propofol. Now this can be tricky, so there's a couple of ways to do this. I can plug this in through the rubber cap there, and then put a sharp needle so that I don't get an airlock, but I find that's again unnecessary. I just need to draw up 50 mils of air and puncture that rubber stopper, and then using this grip here, because it's a strong grip, I can then put most of that air in and then it uses the air pressure to draw up my propofol like so. Fantastic. And again, I have to get the air out of the syringe, and I just recap that and ready for use.